Dominican actor Manny Perez is one of the most recognizable Latino character actors in Hollywood with roles in such shows as Law and Order, Criminal Intent, Special Victims Unit, CSI Miami, Criminal Minds, Third Watch, The Blacklist, Luke Cage, Elementary, and Homeland. With 55 credits to his name, he's even outpacing his own age, 52. Now he's making his directorial debut with Soga Salvation, a film he also wrote, produced, and stars in, set in his native Quisqueya la Bella, la República Dominicana. Manny, good to see you again, my friend.
Well, thank you for having me, man. It's always a pleasure speaking with you and seeing you do amazing things.
Same, my brother. I feel as if your success is mine, is ours as a big, awesome Latino community. Sin importar bandera.
Así mismo es.
Hola, my name is. Hola, my name is. Hola. Hola, my name is.
Hola, my name is Manny Pérez.
Manny, when did you start acting? Did you want to be an actor since you were a kid? How did you get started in this business?
Well, yeah, no, I wanted to be an actor since I was a child. I come from a family of 11 brothers and sisters, and I was the only charlatan in the family, the only clown. So I always wanted to pursue that and make people laugh. So when my family moved to the United States, I was 10 years old. I said, well, I'm going to make my dreams happen here. And sort of that's what started. And I started doing a lot of children's theater. Then I went to college to pursue acting, got a BA in acting. Then from there, I started doing a lot of off-Broadway shows, independent films, and then it took off pretty much.
Was that inspired by anybody in the family? Anybody else act also, or is that all on your own?
No, I'm the only loco in the familia, bro. It's crazy. I'm the only one that decided to go down this route. No one in my family. My family are all factory workers. I mean, they're in the DR, they were farm workers. Then they moved to Providence, Rhode Island, and there they became factory workers. So I was the only one that pursued this thing. And why? I don't know, bro. It was just, I was the clown in the family, I guess.
What was your first acting job?
Well, my first acting gig was in an independent film called New York Undercover Cop. With Mira Sorvino, who went in, everybody knows who Mira Sorvino is, Chad McQueen, who's Steve McQueen's son, and then this little punk from the DR, and I was the villain in the film. So that changed my career, and sort of that opened up a lot of doors to do more independent stuff.
Do you remember the first paycheck you ever got from your acting gig?
Yeah, I do. It was from there.
It was from that one. You remember?
It was from that one, dude.
And what's the first thing you ever? How old were you? Number one, and do you remember what you bought with that when you first cashed it?
Well, no, I think I paid my rent with it. You
were smart.
I was smart. I paid my rent with it, and I was like 22 when that happened. That was a long time ago, bro.
Now, your career has taken you to do a lot of things that are very similar to your very first role. A lot of things have to do with police work and crime. Is that something that's it just happens, or you just happen to have a criminal face? Or
I have that face.
Una cara de malo.
I have that face. I have that face that, like, you don't want to take him home to you don't want to take it home to introduce him to the parents because he'll mug the parents. No, I just have that face, dude. So what I do is that I take these roles and I basically just, usually a stereotypical roles that I get in malo, el gangbang or whatever, and I try to give them a heart. And so that I did that for many years until I decided to take this career into my own hands and write projects that would change the way Hollywood looks at me. For example, Washington Heights, this one right here, you see it. This one I co-wrote with a friend of mine because I wanted to sort of change the way Hollywood looked at me. And really, Washington Heights is about a bodega owner who has a son, and the son wants to be a cartoonist, and the bodega owner wants the son to take over the bodega. And it's just a conflict of generations. And that sort of changed the way Hollywood looked at me. So then I started getting roles that had more meat to it, more heart to it. And that sort of changed the way I moved my career forward.
Listen, I like this. And there's been a lot for a long time, this has been a topic, right? That we are underrepresented as Latinos or people of color are not satisfied with the roles that they're offered in movies and on series and on TV and whatnot. And it's nice to see people take the bulls by the horn, right, and change it. If you don't like something, you don't like the way things are going, don't just complain about it. Do something to actually change it. So it's good to see people like yourselves, like the Tyler Perrys of the world, the Lin-Manuel Mirandas, that are just changing the game. You don't like when it's being done and you don't like your representation, well, get in there and change it yourself.
No, I believe 100% in that. And I also, and I've always been that, and I've always said, as actors, we're always hustling for a job, or we're always waiting by the phone. And I'm like, no, man, take a pen, start writing, and create your own thing. And the good thing about it is that you can shoot it on your iPhone. And if it's a good story, it gets picked up and people want to see it, So it's all about creating your own projects to move forward and not wait for the agent or Hollywood to do stuff for you, because it will never happen. It will never happen.
In your latest project, Soga Salvation, we're gonna get into that in a minute. You wrote this thing, you're producing it, you produced it, and you're starring in it. But before we get to that, and on this same topic, the Golden Globes were canceled this year, right? And it had to do a lot of como una protesta. A lot of people were, still upset. What do you, as an actor, when you see these kind of things, is this pretty productive? Is this the way to go about these things?
Well, listen, it's a good question, and I got to say the following, and this is where I feel where we are going. What's wrong with Hollywood is not Hollywood; it's us as Latinos. And this, I've always said this, and I feel like the problem with all these films that have come out, El Cantante, which I was in, came out, and it wasn't supported 100% by Latinos because it was the story of Hector Lavoe, a Puerto Rican amazing artist, but the story takes place. It's the story of a Puerto Rican artist. Mexican, or let's say the West Coast, did not watch this film because it's like, oh, that's a Puerto Rican thing, or it's a Caribbean thing. Or when La Familia comes out, directed by Edward James Olmos, and those people are in it, Puerto Ricans or Dominicans, the Caribbean East Coast, are like, oh, that's not for me. That's a Mexican thing. And at the end of the day, it's all a Latino thing. And I feel like if it's Latino, we should go watch it and support. And then Hollywood, we say, you know what? I want to make more films about the Latino because they're supporting their projects. And I feel the problem is with us, among us. I think we have too much pride in our race. Well, yo soy puertorriqueño, yo soy dominicano, yo soy cubano, and it's missing ese ritmo del dominicano. And it really, to the white dude sitting in Texas, we're all Mexicans. So it's like, I feel like we just gotta support each other as Latinos, and I feel like then things will start changing. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's the problem with us.
I feel 100% what you're saying. This same thing, we see it over and over, right? Aida Rodriguez, good friend. She just did this awesome special with her last comedy special with HBO, and I feel that it didn't get the support and the love that it really deserves. You can watch it. It's on streaming now. It's fantastic. She's brilliant. But yeah, we definitely gotta tenemos que apoyarnos, y deberíamos apoyarnos uno al otro sin importar bandera, without worrying we shouldn't. If there's already enough people trying to separate us and divide us. We should all support each other. I totally agree with that.
Exactly. And I feel like that's what, if Hollywood sees that, then they'll continue making films for us, about us, But anyway, that's a different, that's something we can go on for hours about that.
We could, and there's so many examples of it. Look, also, Leslie Grace is the new Batgirl, La Batichica. She was here on my show a couple months ago before she started filming. And I'm so proud of her, right? And when I open up our social media, one of the first comments that I see, and it wasn't just one, it was numerous comments about how cheap the outfit was, and whether, that didn't look like the Batgirl that people expected. There's undertones there of racist, whether people didn't like her. There's different ways to interpret this thing, but why not Leslie Grace, But anyway, you just got to look past all that stuff, no?
No, you do. And you just have to just, continue moving forward. And I feel like with time, there will be change. And hopefully, it's around the corner. But, it's taken a while. It's taken a long while. And let's see what happens.
Absolutely. All right, so let's talk about La Soga. This guy is a hitman. You're playing the hitman, right?
Yeah.
So
I have that face, dude.
Yeah. So talk to me about La Soga. Who is he and what is he doing in this movie?
Okay, mira, La Soga is the story of a Dominican hitman. He actually lived in the DR and he was the hitman that the Dominican government paid him to take out all these bad guys in the DR. In my story, La Soga has moved to Pawtucket, Rhode Island, which is the smallest city in the nation, which I had no idea, because he's trying to escape from his past, not deal with his past, not deal with his own demons, because of all the bad things he's done. So he's trying to live a normal life with his girlfriend and escape his past.
Mhm.
But his past knocks on his door, and then La Soga Salvation starts. The film is a suspense, drama, action slash love story that keeps you on the edge of your seat. And it's just about a guy who's trying to get by, just a regular guy trying to get by. The good thing about La Soga, which I think, which is the reason why I sort of made it, is just that I was sick of seeing these sicarios that Hollywood has made of Latinos, where they're bigger than life, and I feel like, to me, it's just not real. I feel like this is a man who did bad things, and he himself is dealing with his own demons, but he's not a badass. He's not a Batman. He's just a guy trying to get by. And I feel like that's what makes this film special. And I feel like this is why the film went into Toronto, which is one of the biggest film festivals in the world, and premiered there because of that same reason. Because it's different than what they've made of Sicarios. And that's the beautiful thing about this film.
So it's based on a real man. It's based on a real life story.
Well, no, it's based on the story is not his story. It's based on a guy that I actually met in the DR.
Okay.
I should say, of an event that happened in front of me, where this guy, La Soga, killed a friend of mine from my neighborhood back in Baitoa.
You watched this guy kill somebody?
Yeah.
In front of you?
In cold blood.
Why did he kill him?
This is because the guy was a guy that was wanted by the cops. He robbed like 2 gas stations and a bank and stuff. So he basically had 3 strikes, you dead type of thing.
Uh-huh.
So when that happened at that time, this was back in the 90s, the government sent this man out to take these dudes out.
Like it's like a vigilante.
No como vigilante, sino como like the government pays the sicario so they can take out these bad dudes who are above the law.
Right.
What it comes down to. So when I saw this man kill this dude, I was like, I'm gonna write the story about that guy.
How old are you? How old are you?
I was like 23, 24.
What did you think?
Like when I was starting off.
What did you think? How did that impact you? Obviously, it motivated you now to do the movie, but what went through your mind when you saw this guy killed in front of you?
The truth, I was like, is this a movie? Honestly, I was like, this is a movie, because it was unreal. It was not. It's surreal. It was. I was actually. I'm like, is this a staged?
Right.
Because it's crazy. It was like. So then I said, okay, I'm gonna find out more about this man, and then what I found out is that the government was paying this man to do this. So then in my story, I gave this man a reason to do what he does. I made him the son of a butcher. He became a butcher. He watched his father killed by a drug lord. So that made him become this hitman.
Got it.
In my story. But the real guy, he was just like, yo, I'm out. You got 3 strikes, you dead.
Got it.
No such thing as like, I don't have a heart. I don't feel anything.
The real life guy, how did he kill that other guy? I'm just curious.
With a gun.
Okay, shot
him in the head.
Oh,
dude, God. He just took him. This is how it happened. He went inside my neighbor's house, knocked on the door, pulled him out through his hair, put him out in the front of the El Parque, which is a small town. Took his gun without saying one word and shot him in the head.
Shit.
He dropped, threw him in the back of his little Datsun Toyota or whatever, that little pickup, little Datsun.
Right.
Dio la vuelta al parque, and then took him to the city.
Diablo.
And nothing was said, dude. Nothing was said.
So I guess he got it back. Back then, he had to like take the body back to show the evidence to the police to get paid, I guess. Here he is.
Exactly.
Kind of like the wanted dead or alive. Bam. There you have him. Wow. Crazy.
Crazy, bro. It's crazy.
Where did you film your interpretation of this guy, La Soga Salvation? Where was it filmed?
Okay, well, the Soga Salvation was shot in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, Providence, Rhode Island. We shot it in 15 days. We shot it a month prior to COVID pandemic shutdown.
What's that?
Then I took that.
COVID? I never heard of it. Shut down. What's that?
You
Okay, well, yeah, no, we're so tired of hearing about that crap, right?
I was like, man,
It's like, what planet do you live on that you don't know what the hell COVID is?
So then I took that year to just, me and a friend of mine, we edit, and that's how we ended up with the film. It took a year to basically, do the whole edit and the post.
Quickly, if you can run me through that. And for people that are aspiring actors, or people have great ideas, right? Maybe the acting thing it's rough to break through, right? But what about for people that have an idea for a movie or have written a movie? How does that process go about, getting that through?
Well, I think the first thing is just take a pen and a paper and just write your thoughts down, ideas. Then once you have all your ideas down and you have what they call an outline, then you start writing your script with that outline, making sure that you know what you're trying to say at the end of the film. What I'm trying to say with Soga Salvation is a man that has to face his demons, and his past catches up to him. Simple. So how do I go by doing that? And how do I incorporate love into his life, something that he never had? So it's like and then once you have that script, then you go on. Okay, how am I going to shoot it? What kind of budget do I have? With what camera am I going to use? What friends am I going to call for help and favors? And sort of takes a while, but it's a process.
So, and that's the process that you went through. Is this considered an independent film? Is that what you're describing?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. This is basically an indie film. I actually put my own money into the film, which is crazy to do. But I had no choice because I really believe in this and I believed in the story. So I just put my own money, I had savings, a few little pennies here and there, and I just put it on the table and said, I'm going to go shoot it. And that's how it happened.
I think that's really cool. I have ideas for movies and people tell me, what do I do with this? People tell me all the time, oh, this person, this other person. What do I do with this idea? How do you go about protecting your ideas? Like, you have to be careful with who you show the idea or a synopsis of a movie to make sure that they don't steal it from you,
Yeah, well, the first thing I do is I copyright what I wrote. This is the first thing I do. And then I'm very careful who I show it to. I'm only showing it to people that I know who are interested in it and they're serious about the business, not just any charlatan who wants to,
Right.
Yeah, so it's a process, and you got to be protective with what you have.
Is this a problem in the industry where ideas get stolen often?
Well, that hasn't happened to me. It hasn't happened to anyone that I know per se, but I do read about it. It does happen. So yeah. So all depends.
In La Soga Salvation, any friends that are acting alongside with you that you'd like to mention? I've seen the trailer.
All my friends.
I've seen the trailer. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm going to watch, and it looks really, really cool.
No, well, you should watch. It opens tomorrow, the 28th. And then also it's on demand. It's on Apple TV. It's on Amazon Prime. So if you can't go to the theaters, you can just watch it at home. So I have a bunch of friends I would love to, thank you, give shout outs. Sarah Jorge Leon plays the love interest. Hada Vanessa plays the villain. Amazing, amazing job. Juan Fernandez, who's this huge Hollywood Crocodile Dundee, wasn't Crocodile Dundee actor, amazing. Chris McGarry, amazing job. And then there's Feli Germán, Vicente Suriel, a whole bunch of other dudes that did an amazing job in this film.
What would you say, Manny, what are you most proud of all your career, of everything you've done? Because you have been in a lot of great projects.
Got you. Wow, that's a good question, man. See, it's crazy because I feel like my last project is the one that I'm most proud of. In this case, Salvation.
It's your baby, right?
It's my baby. Plus, you know what? I think with time, I change as an actor and my craft gets better. So like when Washington Heights came out back in 2001, I thought it was my best work ever. I'm like, oh, wow. I go back and look at it and I hate my work because I'm like, yo, this sucks. This really sucks.
Why would you say it sucks?
Well, because my acting, I feel like it needed a lot of help, and it needs a lot of help at that moment in my life.
Got it.
Then I do another project 10 years down the pipe, and I'm like, oh, this is the best thing I've ever done. I go back and look at it, and I'm thinking, yo, that sucks too. My acting sucks.
You're too hard on yourself, bro. You're too hard on yourself.
But I think it's a good thing. I mean, I think it's a good thing because it makes me better. It makes me become better as an actor in my craft as I go on, you know? So I don't know. I think it's part of the process for me to hate what I do so I can get better with time. I don't know.
Well, with that said, is there anything in the industry that you wish somebody would have shared with you, or inside of the business that you think would have helped your career?
Oh wow. Yeah, no, that's a good question, dude. Yeah, I think not to take auditions for granted. I feel like every audition needs to be like your moment to shine. And I feel like us as actors are like, oh, I just have an audition. Yeah, I'll get to it. It's no big deal. And then you get to it and you flop, and it flops. You flop and you didn't get the job. And then you see someone else that walked in there and he was prepared. And you're like, wow, that guy, I heard him. He's brilliant. And I just feel like we as actors, sometimes we don't really take those moments to appreciate that audition that you have. So I feel like if I can go back, I'll probably be working more if I pay more attention to those moments, those chances that I had to audition for whatever, and it flopped.
But now, when you're such a recognized face, right, such as yours, and you've had so many roles, isn't your work already, isn't that an audition in itself? Or do you actually have to read for certain roles? Or is there certain directors, when they want you for a role, they're already said, oh, Manny would be the face, the person for this role? Or do they still have you go in and read an audition?
No, it depends. There are, Hollywood films, they want to see the actor read. Doesn't matter if you've done, they still want to see you read. Indie films, they know your work, they've done research. They don't have enough money, but it sort of works out because they're offering you the job, and the job is so good that you'll take it because it will help your career. So it all depends on the budget that they have, I guess, in the project.
There's a lot of new actors now on TikTok and on OnlyFans. Any advice for people starting a career in acting on OnlyFans or TikTok?
Well, dude, it's crazy, man.
Yo, I know people that are making $30,000, $40,000 just in subs, just in subscriptions, for their channels, and they show a teta, they show an alga or a testicle, and people are, they pay them, they tip them for more and stuff.
No, it's true. I mean, dude, it's crazy, man. I feel like actors, like the real actors, are not being appreciated in the business at all. They're hiring these dudes who have 103 million, 5 million followers, which I think is all fucking fake, because I don't understand how a person can have so many followers. It makes no sense, dude. It makes no sense. So they hire these dudes, but at the end of the day, the final result, the product, it's not good. The acting is not good. But, it's all about how many followers you got. So it's weird. To me, it's like I love actors who are actors, not that because you have 100,000 followers, I'm going to hire you in a job. It just makes no sense, But anyway, hopefully, I don't know. Maybe one of these days I'll do one of these sex video thing and put it on in my social media. Maybe that will make me famous.
Now you'd have to practice, the sounds and everything. Those are hard lines, for any type of porn acting. Ah, qué rico. Oh yes, baby. Do it again.
Exactly. Crazy, dude.
Any actor that you're really looking up to, that you admire right now, it's just killing it right now, that you say, wow, him or her, this person is really doing an amazing job? Because let me tell you something. I think, and I don't know if this is the pandemic, or I don't know if I'm the only one with this perception, I think the quality of I'll be honest with you, a lot of the stuff that I'm seeing on streaming, and I want to guess, and I want to hope it was the pandemic and the lockdown, because things were limited, and hoping that we can get out of there. But I've seen some very big names in some very shitty projects where I see the roles, and I see these huge actors that, you know, they've always done big productions, and they're doing this crappy movie. Very like the plot is cool, but it's just the acting is horrible, and I'm like, I can't believe that this actor got involved in this shitty project. Again, I'm hoping it's just the pandemic and that we come out of that. I don't know if you identify with what I'm saying.
No, I agree with you 100%. But I feel that, wow, I agree with you 100%. I feel like this has to do also with indie films not being made as much as they used back in the day.
Okay.
So when these superheroes movies took over the theater, and people are going to see these superhero movies, Batman's and Spider-Man. So then the indie filmmakers are not getting a chance at the movie theater. So then not that many name actors are doing indie films. So they're doing these streamers projects that, you know, Netflix is doing on Amazon, and they're just putting names in there and they're getting a paycheck just to get by. I think, again, I don't know. I think that's what's happening because it makes no sense to me either what's happening in the business.
I got to be honest, and I was looking up the movie because I had forgotten the name of it, but this has got to be, and Bruce Willis, Mr. Die Hard. He's done some great work. He's an amazing actor. Yeah. But this has got to be the shittiest movie I've ever seen, I think, in my life. It was on Amazon Prime in 2020, Breach. He's like on some, I don't know if you got to see that. Don't waste your time.
I didn't see it.
If you ever want to fuck up someone's day, tell them, hey, you got to go see Breach. It's a great movie, and they're gonna be mad at you. They're on a spaceship, and there's some weird animal that they're running from, and I was like, I cannot believe that Bruce Willis is part of this crap. Anyway,
I did not see it.
Not to beat up the film and whoever's involved in it, but that has got to be the shittiest movie of 2020. I just wanted to put that out there. Manny, La Soga Salvation is in theaters now and on streaming. Check it out, everybody. You don't want to miss that. Awesome movie. Great project that my boy Manny wrote, was inspired, like he said, when he saw that guy that was killed right in front of him in Dominican Republic, and he based it all on him, on La Soga. You wrote it, you produced it, you star in it with your friends, and amazing that you put your own, so much love and passion and your own money into this great project. And I really wish you a lot of success. Manny, on my podcast, I always ask my guests to leave a question for my next guest without knowing who that guest is. And my last guest is from Venezuela. He visited the United States when he was 12 years old. He had a horrible blood infection that ended up causing, it was like flesh eating, and then ended up amputating his hands and his legs below the knees. He's surpassed all that. Now he's such an inspiration. He gives conferences to people to lift them up. He's written 2 books. He skydives. He dances. He does it. As a matter of fact, he describes his situation as a blessing. He wouldn't change anything, which I found remarkable. But he left this question for you without knowing the question was going to be for you.
¿Qué preferirías? ¿Viajar al pasado y cambiar algo que no te haya gustado, una experiencia que no haya ido con tu legado? ¿O viajar al futuro y saber cómo va a ser tu vida?
Wow. I'd rather fast forward and change something in my future. Whatever that is, that will make more sense to me, even though it's such a crazy question. But I think that will make more sense to me.
I love it.
I don't know.
Yeah, fast forward and make sure that La Soga Salvation que haga historia y que se gane todos los premios y que todo el mundo en el mundo vaya a verla, right?
Exactamente. That
All right.
Even better, yeah.
So, Manny, now you leave a question for my next guest without knowing who that person is.
Wow, dude. I know you. This is like, okay. I think the question would be, what will you do if you find out that aliens are controlling this world?
You mean aliens aren't controlling this world?
Are controlling this world. Like the aliens
I'm asking,
are in control.
You're telling me that
is
aliens...
That a question?
No, yeah, it's a question, but I'm asking you now, aliens aren't in control. I thought they were in control. Manny, are you an alien?
No, but I'm not. But what I'm saying is, but what if like you actually find out that they actually not aliens and humans? We're talking like you see them coming down and they are like they have the AT look, and those are the dudes who are the gods of this world. What will you do?
So what would you do if you found out that the people that are in control of everything that's happening right now, they're actually ETs in control?
Exactly.
All right. Manny, all the best, brother. Always good to see and talk to you. I'm so happy every time I see you on my computer, anytime I see you on my streaming or in a movie poster. Very, very proud of everything that you do and how you represent us. All the best.
Thank you, brother. It's really a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, brother. Todo lo mejor, caballo.
Gracias, Don. Cuídese.
Dale, papi, cuídate.
Cuídese.
Hola, my name is. Hola, my name is.